you should see a thing saying recording, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Just want to
Okay.
verify that.
Okay. Should
Been
I?
having we've had some technical issues today, so I've got to make sure that first part works.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to hit continue on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. All right. So, how did you get involved working on film productions and makeup effects?
Well, I mean, I guess it goes all the way back to junior high school. Just you know, was when I began kind of investigating, makeup effects, playing with latex. Horror movies at that time, I think, kind of generated that out of me. And so I would, watch all the horror movies, watch all the monster movies, and then during I think it was the remake of The Thing is when I first really got into it and just noticed the makeup effects for what they really were, and then and also realized that that was a job that I could do as well.
And The Thing is a great movie. The remake was amazing and scary. Yeah, absolutely. So when you're so talk about, you saw that and you say it's a job, I want to do that. How did you get from that wanting that job to getting that job?
Well, it's just a product of practice. I think I did decide, again, junior high years, high school years is when I really kind of started to more play with it, get clay, practice sculpting, trying to learn more about makeup. A lot of the magazines, Fanboy or Cinema Fantastique, would buy those magazines and just kind of, just go through them and just read and reread all the articles. And eventually I decided that if this was something that I really wanted to do, I couldn't do it. I grew up in the Northwest. I couldn't do it there, and I had to go to LA. And that's what I ended up doing, was just kind of going to LA and, took some classes, went to a school, and, just from there, you just kind of keep practicing and getting as good as you can.
Most people tell me, I go to Hollywood to act. You went to Hollywood to make effects. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
When it comes to the creation of an alien or creature's look, how much of an input do you actually have?
Let's see. A lot of that depends upon the production itself. For say any of the Marvel pictures. I mean, they've got a whole design team that kind of, generates that. And then say for Legacy Effects, when I worked for them, they'll get a design, say Apocalypse, and then once we get the actor, then it's kind of redesigning or interpreting that design on the actor's face, in which way that it would, makes it so that it works best as a makeup. So yeah, I guess that's about it.
Well, let's pretend that I'm an actor that you're going to make up. So I'm curious, how's that process work? Do I sit down in a chair and then you just start going to town, or do you do head molds first? How does this work?
Yeah, a lot of it will depend upon the design of the character. Again, talk about Apocalypse. They had already kind of known basically the direction of the character art-wise. So then when it came time to, when the actor got cast, finalized, Oscar Isaac, then yes, then we get down to doing live casts, doing teeth casts, doing, scans so that we can grow parts if we need to, body forms. And then depending upon the design and approval process, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks when until we get to our first makeup test. And then, that's again, when the actor, you would come back, sit down in the chair, and then we, go forward with our first makeup test.
And then you also have to design it so it's easily removable and then easy to put back on again. Because obviously they're not going to shoot all their stuff in one day.
Right. No, very rarely. And yeah, I mean, well, it's makeups like that on that level. I mean, they're basically one-time use. So you put it on, you take it off, it gets thrown away. You know, you have another set ready to go for the next day or however many days that you shoot.
I'm curious, when you're designing this, how much is something that's not really noticed by someone watching the film? Like in Apocalypse, obviously, Oscar Isaac had a particular look to him. And I
Mm-hmm.
could say, oh, you did that. But how much of the makeup process is stuff that I wouldn't notice? If that makes sense.
I mean, well, even again, even taking that makeup, there's so many different layers to it. Legacy Effects, not only did they make the makeup, they also made the costume for that character. So we had a lot of which worked out great because we had a lot of you know, like the tubes connecting to him, and we could, since we were under one roof, we could kind of figure that out much easier. But the hidden stuff would be, I mean, Oscar's got a huge head of hair, so we've got to first bald cap that, and then we had like another plastic cap with connecting points on it, so that once the makeup goes on, the part of the helmet goes on, the tubes can connect. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
That's pretty cool. So you won an Emmy for working on Black White,
Mm-hmm.
and you also were part of the Oscar-winning team for Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
Yep.
Can you talk about those?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I guess Black White was an interesting project. Probably one of the hardest that I've worked on, because it was a reality-based show, kind of walk a mile in my shoes scenario. Except we, took a family of African American, three, a mother, father, and a son, made them look white. And a family of three Caucasian white people that we turned into black people. And again, so then they kind of send them out into the world, videotape them, and see if each other can get an idea of what it's like to walk in the other person's shoes. That show was really hard. The producers were very particular because they knew that if the makeup didn't work, the whole idea didn't work. So we did a lot of testing with that. We did different things, from using bigger prosthetics. We minimized it quite a bit, just because some of the prosthetics, it's just too easy to call out, especially when you're trying to fool somebody who's not in on the joke, and they're 3 feet from the person having a conversation. So the producers, we would do a test. The producers would come over, they'd walk in the room and go, "I see the makeup," and then make it better, do it again, and we would kind of that repeated for quite some time until we got to a place where they were confident that the makeups worked.
That is so cool. Talk about Benjamin Button.
Yeah, Benjamin Button was another long project. As you can imagine, we had quite a few old age stages and different characters to work with on that show. We did that out of Captive Audience in Burbank. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like one of those dream jobs where it's so much the movie is about makeup or about characters and makeup. So that's nice. And then to be able to kind of build that progression, from, well, for Benjamin, counting backwards, and then for Kate, going up, making her a little bit older.
How did you and Leo hook up on the fan film Star Trek Phoenix? And bless you.
Thank you. Boy, I can't even remember how we first might have connected. It might have just been like a Craigslist ad or something like that. After Benjamin Button, things in Hollywood were kind of changing, and so I moved back up to the Seattle area with my family, and had a space, and just kind of figured, well, maybe I can just try and do some small things out of here. travel to LA, travel to wherever I need to go for work. And I think, I think that's how I connected with Leo. Just kind of responding, just responding to Craigslist ads every once in a while. I'd be like, oh, this kind of sounds like it might be something fun. And, then they came over to my house. We had a meeting about the whole project, and, we all moved forward.
I remember meeting you there and seeing a head mold of Leonard Nimoy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool, for sure. Talk about working on JJ's Star Trek movies.
Well, let's see. The first time I did on Star Trek, that was going in and helping a friend of mine, Joel Harlow. He got that show, and I was just, working in the bullpen. We just, Romulan after Romulan after Romulan. So that was pretty cool. And then after a little bit, I think I went. Joel's regular guy went on to another show, so then I went in to help him do Eric's makeup. And actually, that was one of the moment when I actually got to meet Leonard Nimoy.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, you got to give me a couple more stories about working with JJ and working on the films, because you also did Into Darkness.
Yeah. See, the second movie was done. Another friend of mine, David Anderson, did that show, and he headed up the department, both departments, just makeup and makeup effects. And so I was, we were over there prep, working in the shop, and then one day he just kind of said, hey, he knew I was in the union, and said he wanted to take me to set. He thought I would be a good makeup artist, good personality to work with. Ben to be, who was playing Khan, and anybody who knows anything about the Star Trek world, knows the name Khan, and I thought that was a good moment.
My son has a moment with Benedict Cumberbatch too, but it was essentially he was at San Diego Comic-Con, and my son was in the restroom, and I was waiting, and all of a sudden all these guards walk up and block the door. Yeah. And I go over there and they say, "Sir, I'm sorry, you can't come in." I said, wait a minute, my son's in there. And they said, "Oh, your son's okay. Don't worry about it." Yeah. And I'm staring going, "What's going on?" And a minute later, my son comes out and goes, "Dad, I just saw Benedict Cumberbatch." Sounds pretty awesome. Yeah. So I'm curious, we're going to do a hypothetical here. Okay. What is, if we were going to look at, you basically have a chance to show me one piece of something you've done that's your proudest piece that you've done up to this point, what would that be?
It's really hard because there's I've been pretty fortunate to be able to work on a lot of great projects. There are different aspects to all the things, all the films that I've worked on. Like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, getting a chance to kind of redesign that makeup and, come at it a completely different way and, shave, the application time down tremendously. I have a lot of pride in that, and actually, going back to, Passion of the Christ, I was fortunate enough to work on that movie too. And, just despite anybody's belief or thought, it's a great story. It's a good, good movie, and pretty proud of that one too.
What is it like being that close to the actors and actresses? You're working with them. Are they nice overall, or are they just like, leave me alone, I want to have my coffee? You get to have intimate time with all these amazing people. I'm just wondering, what is that like?
I don't know. I guess it's like every normal day, because some people, generally I think anybody, when it comes down to it, it's a work situation. So everybody's coming to work and they're got to do their part, and hopefully everybody gets that. Sometimes people think their jobs are a little bit more important, I guess. But for the most part, everybody's, been pretty good as far as just getting down to it. It's work. We're just people at work, and yeah, I'm leave me alone. I just want to have my coffee, or just leave me leave me alone. Don't keep primping me or touching me, because that's not what you would normally do to a lot of other people, in your daily business. So I guess I've always just kind of seen them as just other people. They got more zeros after them, but best to look at it that way, I think.
Well, I am curious. Did you have or ever have a fanboy moment where you were like, "Holy cow, this is the person I'm working on"?
I don't think so. I think anytime I had a fanboy moment like that, I think was the day I was helping Joel do Eric's makeup, and then I kind of felt a little bump behind me, and that somebody sitting down in the chair, and that's when Leonard Nimoy sat in the chair next to us, and he was going to get his ears on for the first Star Trek movie. And I think it's times like that, especially someone like him, that was more like any time that I would have like a fanboy moment.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
I have to ask.
Oh, I was like, because otherwise it's just kind of like it's work, and I don't, I guess I'm not. We're all here to do this. I'm here to, put this makeup on you so you can go out and do whatever you got to do. And I guess it's, we're all kind of meeting the seat, and then just gotta get my work done, and so that we can all go home at the end of the day.
I got to ask you about Mandalorian, because that show was amazing.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Talk a bit about working on that.
Working on the Mandalorian has been fun. I mean, it's truly hard. Because I think, with the creators, Favreau and Filoni, he brought together all these film people, and then now is trying to make a TV show, which I think is why it looks so good. But, TV budgets, TV schedules are nothing like film budgets and film schedules. So, it's like trying to shoot one of those episodes in 2 weeks, maybe. Can get pretty trying, because there's a lot of stuff too that, we might have to build. And then it's just like, okay, build fast, shoot fast, and, on to the next one. So, but it's been a great show. It's been, it's kind of like, with Star Trek and all kinds of other movies, that was like, kind of like one of the bucket list projects. And real fortunate to be able to be on it.
Are you? Have you been working on the second season?
We already shot and wrapped second season, and I think it starts earlier this year. I think it comes out in October. So second season is going to be amazing.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and it was such oh man, I just absolutely love that. You say so I'm guessing you're a Star Trek fan. What's your favorite series?
You know what? I grew up on the original series, so I kind of go there. All of the other, I haven't even watched all of them. I think we just watched Next Generation, got into that a bit, but I think that was the other one that I ever saw. But I'm just more, I just remember watching them first run, so that's always kind of special for me.
Why do you think it continues to inspire to this day?
I think, good question. I think it, I think like those projects like Star Wars and Star Trek, they're infinitely like these, tried and true stories and, mythology. And I think, at the end of it, it's always, some version of hope, or some version of wanting to be, put yourself into the narrative and be that person, or pretend to be that person, disappear for a little bit.
I have to ask, what are you working on now besides from home, obviously? And how do you see production changing as a result of our current times?
We're in some crazy times right now. Luckily, we wrapped Mandalorian March, I think 4th, and like right before everything started shutting down. So so right now that's it. I mean, Hollywood is shut down, so not working on anything. They have no idea when they're going to reopen for shooting. Hopefully by September, they're thinking. And yeah, boy, as far as what it's going to look like, I don't know. There's a lot of speculation, and it's, you know, everybody's talking about, like, you know, maybe like makeup brushes and hair brushes and things are all disposable and one-time use situation, or, you know, everyone's wearing masks and gloves, and, you know, applying a tricky prosthetic makeup and rubber surgeon's gloves is not going to be fun.
I actually, I do have one more question. How does CGI play into the stuff you do?
I mean, the one thing that's really nice about, well, especially with Mandalorian and some other recent projects, I mean, CG, as much as they are still taking over quite a bit of some of the stuff that makeup effects people did, I mean, there's quite a lot of great hand-holding that's going on, you know, where we can, you know, maybe we do a makeup, you know, say like old Cap in Endgame. You know, that was a really great hand-holding between Legacy Effects makeup and Lola, where we actually applied some prosthetics to Chris. You know, it was like a neck, eye, and forehead areas, and we left the cheeks open because they knew that was one discernible feature that they could, you know, do digitally as well as change, and they wanted to be able to do that later. They hadn't decided on an age for him yet. So, but when you watch it, I think it turned out really great. You know, again, great hand holding between digital and makeup, and I think you can see a lot more of that.
And that was a great effect for sure. Let me stop recording. Thank you for doing this. Was there anything else you wanted to add? Or
no, I think that's all I can think of.
Can you give me a live long and prosper?
Live long and prosper. I can't remember what I was supposed to do with the thumb.
That looked good. All right, hang on a sec.